Our first speaker is Dr. Imran Akram. Please come to the stage.
So Dr. Imran Akram is a psychiatrist in Reston, Virginia, with experience in both outpatient clinic and inpatient hospital work in the field of psychiatry. He has treated patients with various psychiatric and substance abuse disorders. Let's please give him a round of applause.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I don't know if everyone wants to listen to me after, such an entertaining evening and very nice songs. So I'm going to take a few minutes just to share some thoughts about vaping and some of the other drugs. So basically, let me start with the human body, the biopsychosocial model, as we call it. So we have the biology, what we inherit, the genes from our parents, not the genes we wear, the genes, that chromosomes and stuff. Something that we don't have control over. I know that even the genes sometimes you get from your parents, you don't have control over that. Because they buy you what they want to buy you, right? But there are other genes that you absolutely have no control over. What you inherit from your parents, what you inherit from the family, what comes down the loins. And there are different things in the biology. There are different diseases, different things that automatically we inherit. So remember, that's one thing. And that includes how we break down different medication, different drugs, how they affect us. So for example, people in the Scandinavian countries, they metabolize alcohol very well compared to people in the East or people, in Japan and further east in Eastern Asia. They may not metabolize alcohol as well. There are certain diseases that are common more in the West than the East or North or the South. Now, there is a personality that everyone grows into that also plays a role in how and what kind of person we develop into and what kind of drugs or medications or other things we get attracted to. Or at the same time, what we are exposed to or what kind of risk we are exposed to, right? So the personality is dependent upon not just the biology that we talked about, but also your circumstances, how you're raised, what kind of environment you're raised in. So this is the second aspect. Why do I'm starting from this? Because we always talk about stopping what someone is doing. We don't want to go behind why in the first place someone ever started this. Then the third thing is the environment, the environmental stresses, whether there's education, whether it's a social situation, whether I want to assimilate myself into my peers, my mates at school, they want me to be a certain way, but you know what? My parents don't like the way they are, so I'm kind of confused. I'm just talking from the student's perspective. Of course, we've got adults and other people that have got their own issues. So these are the three things. Now, the video we saw was very informative. It actually helped cut down probably half of my talk anyway. So it said, one of the students said that, many students smoke or vape because it's a trend. It's nice to be cool. Who wants to go into school with shoes like this, a shirt like this, because you'll be an outcast. On the contrary, if you got a jeans with a couple of holes in it, those windows, and a t-shirt that's probably, your grandfather's size, you look cool. You can wear a hat upside down, you look cool. So remember, we see students, we see adults that may have internal anxiety. Now, anxiety can come either from biology, from their parents. It could be because they're the only lonely child in the house, so they were very protected, in a protected environment, and all of a sudden they've been put out in the world. So there's some social anxiety element. Or it could be that the environment around them is just very hostile towards them. Bullying, so many things. The result is internal anxiety. I don't want to face certain situations. I don't want to raise my hand to ask a question in the class because I don't want to be made fun of. So what do? I want to find a way so I can't become cool so that I'm not under the microscope. What's the easiest way? I'll go and see what others are doing. Now, vaping, I'm just going to send something because we get updates all the time. There have been 3 deaths recently from vaping. So FDA is putting it under the microscope because, the nicotine from the cigarette smoking and all the other things, the combustion of the nicotine used to affect your lungs. And the particles go inside and will cause the lung cancer, would expose you to lung cancer. So people thought, vaping is very safe. At the most, what's going to happen is, my pocket is going to burn if something happens because it's got a battery in there. But no, we've got 3 deaths now confirmed from vaping alone. So guess what? In the pipeline, more and more investigation is going to come. Similarly, things like marijuana, cannabis, we know all these things have positive effects, but their negative effects outweigh the positives. But why do I smoke? Why? It feels good. It calms me down. I don't worry about all the time what I'm going to utter in the class. I'm not going to worry about when I walk in a situation where there are hundreds of people in a party that are they watching me what I'm wearing? I'm not going to worry about that. I want to be free of these worries. So when I smoke marijuana or I vape or I drink a glass or a wine or a beer, those thoughts are gone away. Whereas all the talks I've heard from my counselors or the physician is telling me or my parents, all the homework, it doesn't help me at all. These things I've tried and they do help me, they work. So what are you going to do in that situation? You have to go back and find the cause, the root cause of that anxiety or the depression or the problem that led us in the first place to start using the drugs. But we want to know, why is that those things work? Because they put a covering on the brain. See, the brain is very smart. One of the speakers, I think earlier today, spoke about the brain, evolving and growing, and it's not until 25 years of age the frontal brain stops, it is fully developed. That's why you see the teenagers, you tell them to jump, they jump right away. The boys in particular. Before you say, they've jumped already, And bungee jumping, all those things, they don't even think a second time. When they get 25, 30 years old, you say to tell them jump, they're going to think 3 times before they jump. That's why the drivers are more safer as they grow older, because there's certain parts of the brain do develop more. But these drugs and these, whether you're smoking something, you're drinking something, they all work on certain receptors in the brain. But they don't treat the root cause. Let me give you a very lame example. Okay, if I have a fever, in the olden times, the grandmother comes like, oh, put on a blanket. Okay, he's still shivering, put on 3 blankets. Eventually, he's going to start sweating. Oh, the fever is gone. Or give him a Tylenol. The fever is gone. Ibuprofen, the fever is gone. But guess what? 2 hours later, it comes back again. 3 hours later, it comes back again. Because the problem was not the fever. It's the symptom. It's the presentation. Similarly, the anxiety or the depression or me hiding somewhere is the presentation. It's not the cause. That's why the doctors want to do what? They want to test your blood. They want to swab your nose. They want to swab, get something from your throat, a culture, so they can give you the proper antibiotic. I can barely see anybody because of all the lights in me, so my apologies. I don't know which side I'm looking at. So anyhow, that is what happens with these drugs. They don't go and treat the root cause. They work on certain receptors in the brain, and they slow the brain ever so slightly. Just when the brain is slowed down, you don't worry about every single thing around you. So you're not like a soldier who in the war won't even let an insect crawl by you. That's how hypervigilant they are. That's why people with PTSD, they drink a lot when they come back into this world. And they're so angry because they see every one of us are happy and enjoying. And they're in so much pain. So they drink and they smoke and they do drugs because it allows them to forget all those worries. But the long-term effects of these things, continuous loss of brain cells, memory problems, dementia, and problem with executive functioning. All the people who are driving, they need executive functioning. Using tools, you need executive functioning. Lot of, even sometimes calculations need executive functioning. You lose all that power. And the children, we can't keep telling them this is bad, this is bad. They go to these 12-step programs. Sometimes they're all taught, you're an addict, tell I'm an addict 12 times. They come back to me and says, no, I don't want to go there. I don't do this because I'm an addict. I do this because of A, my friends do it. It's cool. Or B, I'm always anxious. I can't go out and face a certain situation. Or C, I don't have any motivation. But some people, there are some people who only do it for fun. They like to get high. Very difficult to treat those patients because we don't have too many medications that will make you that high. You can high, like climb a mountain or something, but when you do drugs, there are so many side effects. Especially now kids are using in the colleges LSD. We've got university students here. LSD, PCP. People are hallucinating. They jump off the window thinking they're jumping into a pond or a river. But guess what? The river never arrives and they land on the floor and they're gone, their history. And the parents are crying the rest of their lives. But if we think that everyone around is ethical, is the media ethical, the TV ethical, the government is ethical? No, we have to decide it ourselves. Many states are opening and making these drug places, this is legal, marijuana is legal, alcohol is legal, this is legal. They don't think about every single individual. Ask the mothers who've lost their sons. Ask the sons who've lost their fathers. Ask the sisters who've lost their brothers. They will tell you how painful it is. I can't go into too much details, but there is so much help here. There's so much data that's available. I'm just saying, try to find the problem that's underneath this presentation. The drugs are only a covering. We have an epidemic of even pain medications. Whether the pain is in my foot, in my head, or in my back, one tablet will take care of it. Why? Because it tells the brain there is no pain. It works on a receptor. We call it a mu receptor. It tells there's no pain. It's just like I'm a pigeon and you are a cat. You're coming to eat me. And what do? I close my eyes and say, there's no cat. I'm in heaven. I might be in heaven soon once the cat, just finishes me off. Then I will be in heaven, maybe, right? But that's a false dream. So please pay attention to these things. These are very important things. I think I've already taken enough time. Thank you very much. I don't want to bore you guys further. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Dr. Imran Akram. We want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to come talk to us. And one thing I like how he mentioned was how a lot of people get hooked on to find a high or just get rid of the stress and their anxiety. So I know that the kids backstage really want to stress and encourage how they found their passion through singing. And that is how they found their natural adrenaline rush. And